subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so that you know when I have a video coming up next. But as I said, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I'm going to be dropping videos for your viewing pleasure. And over the course of the past few days, there has been some interesting talk. We all knew Bo Nickal was going to be taking on Cody Brundage at UFC 300, but what we found out just the other day is that Bo Nickal, in fact, will be on the main card of UFC 300, which boggled a lot of people's minds. Now, you guys let me know in the comment section below immediately what you think of the fact that he is on the main card. Let's get into a few people's tweets here, because there are a few out there of people who are thinking, what the heck is going on? So as you can see on the Twitterverse, there is people with some interesting takes. And the first one we have here from LG Brandon 26 at UFC. Why is Bo Nickal versus Cody Brundage on the main card of UFC 300? That's laughable. Then you do Jim Miller dirty by putting him on the early prelims with Bobby Green, along with Fig versus Garbrandt. That's crazy. Bo should be starting the night off. Hasn't beat anyone notable yet. Then he hashtags UFC. We then move on to at @VBartek_. Bo Nickal is literally above 7 former champions and 14 ranked fighters with a crying emoji. That in itself is insane. Now, I understand why they're doing this. I'll get to that in a little bit here, but UFC 300 is stacked, and we want the main card to be as stacked as possible. And so the prelims should not be better than the main card. And looking at this, they definitely are. Moving ahead, at Delinsky2740, haven't tweeted on here in a while, but this is just crazy to me. I fucking love Bo Nickal, but he is fighting ahead of 6 former champs at UFC 300. The hype is real, but what the fuck, man? Disrespect. Dana White privilege is a real thing. Now let's get on to the next one. At Shogun Du Bronx. Now this is a take that a lot of people have because Bo Nickal is above Charles Oliveira on the main card. Charles Oliveira is kicking off the main card, and again, we'll get into this a little bit in a few seconds here, but this guy has to say, Charles Oliveira, one of the greatest MMA fighters of all time, most finishes and submissions in UFC history, UFC veteran, one of the GOATs of lightweight, and Bo fucking Nickal is over him on the main card. Now, if we're going to get into this a little bit, I mean, a lot of these people are saying Dana White privilege, and Bo Nickal fought twice on Dana White's Contender Series before he got a shot and a crack inside the octagon for real within the UFC. Is Dana White privilege real? Definitely. The UFC knows what's going to make them money, and they want Bo Nickal, and they want his stock to rise, and putting him on the UFC 300 main card is helping the UFC get eyeballs on Bo Nickal. Now, if you look at it on the flip side, people are paying for this pay-per-view, and that's one of the tweets that I'm going to get to here in a few seconds, is that people are paying for this, and they want to see the best fighters they can on the pay-per-view. Now, if you're cheap and you're just going to watch the prelims and maybe hang out with buddies for the main card, or you're going to go to a pub and you're not really going to be paying attention, or you're one of those guys who doesn't pay for the main card, well, then this doesn't make a huge difference to you because you're going to watch whoever you can. But for those people that are paying $70+ to watch the UFC 300 main card, they want to see the best fights possible. And in their eyes, from some of these tweets and the reaction that we've seen, Bo Nickal is not that guy. But let's get to a few more of these tweets. Like I said, people complaining about paying for the pay-per-view. This is the guy at Philly Next Door. Don't mind Bo Nickal on the main card, but we're paying for a pay-per-view. We should be getting the best fights with the elite fighters. Yuri versus Ratchik and Cater versus Sterling would be awesome replacements for the pay-per-view because they're ranked, and 2 of them are former champions. Now, that's saying something, right? Like Bo Nickal, UFC, Dana White privilege. And the last one I got for you here, at Eva Rockto Rose, just found out former champion Jessica Andrade is on the early prelims while Bo Nickal is on UFC 300 main card. Dana White privilege in action. Now, like I said, a lot of people dubbing this Dana White privilege and UFC privilege and all that kind of stuff. And as I said, Bo Nickal has a record. He's won. He's undefeated. He's competed on Dana White's Contender Series twice. This guy is the real deal. He came from a wrestling background. He's looked fantastic inside the octagon. He's currently 5-0, and all of his finishes have been by stoppage. His first fight was under Jorge Masvidal's Icon FC3, where he beat John Noland in the very first round, just 33 seconds into it, by knockout. His second fight on Dana White's Contender Series, a minute and 2 seconds into the fight, he beat Zachary Borrego by rear naked choke. Moving forward, he had to fight again on Dana White's Contender Series, a 52-second triangle choke submission against Donovan Beard. Now, nobody wants to fight this guy. It's taken, there's been cancellations, there's been whatnot. Nobody really wants to fight Bo Nickal because you're getting a guy who's 5-0. You put him up against a prospect. You never know what's going to happen. You put him up against a vet. He beats a vet. What do you get out of that? Well, he moved on. UFC 285 in March of last year. He beat Jamie Pickett by submission, arm triangle choke. Again, 2 minutes, 54 seconds into the very first round. And at UFC 290 in July of last year, he defeated Valentin Woodburn via TKO punches. This guy was a late replacement, I believe. He beat him in 38 seconds. Now, as you can see from his MMA experience, he does not have the cage time. That would be something we'd want to see, but we want to see exciting fights on UFC 300. So should this guy be on the main card? You tell me. Let me know in the comment section below. And again, make sure you click that like button, hit the subscribe button, the notification bell. You know the jazz by now. We're putting out videos Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and if anything exciting comes up, we might have another extra video for you in there. But that does it for me. I'm Jeremy Brand. This is MMA Sucka. I'm out.